Good afternoon, everyone. So those are a few of the areas that KPMG focus on from a technology perspective. And just to put a bit more context into that, and KPMG in general being your technology partner, literally in 30 seconds to explain a bit more on that. There are 3 teams working very closely to each other, which is KPMG Advisory, KPMG Software, KPMG Crimson Wing, and today, me representing KPMG Software, will be diving a bit into RPA, specifically Robotic Process Automation. So we chose the heading of this session, hitting the bottom line. So I'll try to, in these following 20 minutes, I'll try to explain a bit more of why and how did we relate, actually, an emerging technology such as RPA to an operator's bottom line. So I'll try to, first of all, explain a bit why, and then look into some practical examples into the how as well. Naturally, I didn't know that JJ was going to use the same quote here from McKinsey & Co., but it really makes sense. So I won't repeat that, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And it does say something on emerging technologies. From giving you some further statistics on areas that we actually worked on some use cases. You can see on the left-hand side there, the specific area where we employed some RPA cases in the finance team. For instance, a process which used to run on a monthly basis and used to take 40 hours for a human being to perform. We managed to get that down to 5 hours every month, so saving something like 35 hours every month of that specific person running the process. In an accounting area as well, internally, a process which used to be run weekly, taking 5 hours a week, we managed to get down that to 1 hour. And with a client in a compliance, in their compliance area, something like 4 people were spending a week a month on that. So a total of 160 hours to run these processes, and using RPAs, we managed to get down that to a total of 36 hours. So quickly, some statistics to explain RPAs and why I'm saying that they would hit directly the bottom line. So saving hours, naturally, that would have a direct impact as well. Very quickly, RPAs, the Robotic Process Automation, you could relate to them a number of labels. Sometimes they can be called digital labor, intelligent automation, advanced automation, and a number of other phrases that you might read or hear. To some degree, they are not exactly the same, and I'll just dive in a bit into more detail now as we go along. Sometimes with the catchphrase of bots, then that would be something which encapsulates everything. I like this explanation of RPAs, the Robotic Process Automation. It is a method used to automate predictable, repetitive, mundane, and sometimes unappealing digital tasks that were considered to be achievable only by human beings before. Basically, literally, just now, even a further abridged version of that, it just mimics a human being on a computer. If we had to really, really squeeze it into an even shorter phrase. Robotics is everything, naturally, but this physical robot. Like there is Microsoft Excel to create workbooks. So there is software to create workbooks. In the same manner, there is software by a number of vendors that we can see on the right there. There are a number of vendors providing software to actually build RPAs. So it's nothing more than a bot built using software to automate manual processes and saves a lot of time, therefore money. We were going to create another short video to explain RPAs and some in 2 minutes, but I didn't reinvent the wheel. We try to be, and not to reinvent the wheel as much as possible in everything that we do, and we found something that really makes sense there. And if we can just kick off the video, it's another 2 minutes that can explain RPAs.
Remember your imaginary friend from grade school? Remember having so much fun until it was time to do homework? Wouldn't it have been nice if your imaginary friend could have done your homework for you so you could have kept playing? Fast forward to 2018. Introducing your new best friend, Robotic Process Automation, RPA. Meet Worky, the invisible robot that will do your work for you. From data entry, invoicing, and creating spreadsheets to reading and responding to emails, he'll do it all. Here's how it works. RPA is not a physical robot, but rather an automated software bot that functions like an additional worker and can be programmed to complete the repetitive tasks that consume your workday. Working at high speeds with 100% accuracy, it eliminates the simple human mistakes that can have catastrophic effects in the business world, while completing tasks in a fraction of the time it would take the hardest working of employees. The management consulting firm McKinsey & Company found that in every case they looked at, people welcomed the technology because they hated the tasks that the machines now do, and it relieved them of increasing work pressure. Up to 45% of the activities individuals are paid to perform can be automated through the use of RPA. Apart from cost savings, RPA offers other benefits such as eliminated human errors, improved compliance, reduced handling time, and faster implementation of new processes. So, can bots do all the work? No, bots are not smarter than humans. There are some things that a robot just can't do. Things that require a human touch, decision-making, and abstract reasoning. Worky is not taking someone's job. He's handling the mundane things so that workers can excel to a higher level of performance than ever before.
Okay, so just to touch upon a bit the previous two presentations. So RPAs in reality is literally the first step into an automation journey. So RPAs, it doesn't really go into the AI element. Intelligent automation does. So if we had to look at the bit at the top there, which is the class 1, it is purely based on rules. So imagine you have, whatever, an internship in summer, and you would say, listen, I have this set of rules that I do this process with, and you really document it really well. So those are rules. You give it to him or her. He goes and he does his stuff. He comes back and with a completed task, because that is something which is fully documented. There is a set of rules that someone can follow. So if it's a process like that, fully documentable, then RPA would be able to do that for you. Now, if at any certain stage, the intern would come back, and he say, listen, I need to take a decision now. With the instructions that you gave me, I can't really continue to the next steps. That is something that RPA then cannot solve. Usually we would notice that if you adjust a bit the process, you would be able to actually document those decisions as well. So if this happens, then do this. And if there is a rule around that, so the second iteration of the RPA would be able to handle that. But if you, after you really think it through, then you still realize that there is a cognitive element, someone needs to take a decision to be able to continue, then RPA won't be able to solve that. And it will go into either class 2, which when we start merging AI with robotic process automation, or even class 3, the next level of RPAs, which would then go into the fully blown intelligent automation that would be able to do that. But so far, looking at, for instance, something like KPMG Netherlands, they just closed the 100th process in automation. Out of those 100, something like only 2 of them, they would actually have used intelligent automation. The rest, so the majority of stuff that they're currently automating is specifically rule-based. Yep. We recorded 30 seconds of a process that we actually ran. Naturally masked the number of stuff. On your left-hand side, you would be seeing the actual RPA software working itself through. And on the right-hand side, you'd be seeing the result of the back-office stuff happening within the RPA software, just for you to have an idea of how it works. So that's the RPA software on the left. After we would have documented the process, then we would have developed the bot that is running on the left-hand side, and as a result, the bot, which is mimicking the human being, the individual, typing in stuff and getting stuff from different systems, is being then displayed on the right-hand side. And just to have an idea of how it looks like and what it does. We're currently working with the team at GIG, looking at 2 specific use cases. A team of 6, 7, 8 people currently looking at the affiliate sites, retrieving revenue figures. There's a lot of manual intervention there. Currently looking at how we can automate that from an operator's perspective. And the second use case we're looking at is reconciling online payments. So a lot of manual work again, then looking at statements, at online statements, and reconciling. And from what we're seeing so far, there's a lot that we can automate using RPAs to be able to actually automate those processes. Some of the benefits, obviously, we can't go through all of them. Also, in the interest of time, I just picked up the top benefits that I'd like to quickly go through. So it limits exposure to sensitive data. As I mentioned before, if you have someone, a junior, and you tell them, listen, can you go and reconcile these balance statements or this data or whatever it is? You don't have that issue with an RPA because sensitivity, you'll give it to a bot and he'll be doing at the back office, so you won't be exposing your data to a human being. Fully auditable and traceable. Every little step that an RPA does can be audited and traceable. Naturally lower cost and increased speed of implementation, as I alluded to before. As against a human being, a bot wouldn't need to rest or eat or whatever it is, so it can work 365, 24/7. It's something that can increase performance. Rapidly scale up and scale down into operations. If, let's say, there's an event, a massive event, the World Cup coming up, it's not easy to find 3, 4, 5 people to recruit them specifically for that and then use them in other areas. However, with RPAs, you can easily scale up, relatively easily scale up. If you have 2, 3, 4 bots doing some stuff and you need to beef that up specifically for an event, then you can work on and increase a number of bots, a number of RPAs to be able to tackle specifically those incidents, and then you can switch off the RPAs there. Automation tools can be employees' personal assistants. We're internationally at an international level. We're seeing some companies that are recruiting people. They're using RPAs at their advantage in the sense that they're saying, as part of the recruitment ad, like, you don't have to do the boring bit of your job because we have employed RPAs to do that. So actually, they're using that as to their advantage when they're employing people, when they're recruiting people. Robotics is now morphing into digital labor, which is proving to be the most disruptive force. They're comparing it to the outsourcing model and offshoring model. And from what we're seeing so far, it is a pretty, let's say, new concept. It's not really out there yet. But we believe, also from a KPMG perspective, especially what we're seeing internationally, that once this hits home and organizations start really realizing the benefits that one can get out of this, this is something that's going to explode. Just one last note there: the time to start, we really believe, is now. Thank you for your time and attention, ladies and gents.